And I'm back, coming to you from Austin, Texas. We skipped last week as I was bouncing from Little Rock to Dallas to San Antonio to Houston, playing shows. I'm still out here, but I had some downtime this week to sit down and talk with some peoples. So here we go. Welcome to the Don't Stifle Me podcast. My name is Jacob Stee-full, and here I get to sit down with people from all areas of music and performing arts and talk to them about how they got to where they are in life and the ups and downs of chasing a life, a career, something that you're passionate about, and the good and bad that come with it, and anything else that comes up in conversation while we're talking. When I'm not podcasting, I am a singer-songwriter myself, and I do have some upcoming shows. This Sunday, March 18th, I will be at the Rustic Tap on 6th Street here in Austin from 4 to 7 p.m., song swapping with some Texas friends of mine. And then Thursday, March 22nd, I'm in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Friday, March 23rd, I'm in Jasper, Alabama, close to Birmingham. And then I finally head back home to Nashville. I will have been out for like 3.5 weeks at that point. And I'm already looking forward to sleeping in my bed. But as for the podcast here, as of now, it is still a listener-funded operation, meaning that we operate on the value for value model, as some people are calling it. All that to say that I put this podcast out for free. It's free for anybody to listen to and download. But if you'd like to donate a small amount per month, it helps keep things going, helps keep the fees paid for uploading it onto the internet so you can all hear it. And there's some behind the scenes pictures and video access and MP3 downloads and things you can get for just, $2, $3, $4 a month or whatever you want to give. So if you want to go check that out, that is at patreon.com/DSM podcast. And like I said, every little bit helps. $1, $2 a month, whatever you want to do. Check it out. And right now, let's get on to the episode. Today's guest is my new good friend, Landon Bullard of Landon Bullard and the Mostly Sober. He and I played a show here. He's a Texas guy, lives here in Austin, and we played a writer's round thing for South by Southwest earlier this week at the Rustic Tap. And we hit it off, had a good time there. So we got together again. He's a cool guy. We had a lot of fun talking today and played some music for you at the end of the episode, like we do here from time to time. So here you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Landon Bullard.
Pick it up from piano.
Landon Bullard. What was the name? What's the name of the band? Something sober? Not sober? What is it?
Landon Bullard and the Mostly Sober.
Mostly Sober.
Yeah.
This is the second time we've been in the same place together since we met the other night.
Yep.
And we're both definitely more sober today than we were the other night.
Certainly.
But it was a good time. I got to Austin actually that afternoon, and I hadn't even been in town a few hours. And you were one of the first guys that I met that day. And I was like, this guy's pretty cool. And anyway, so it's good to be sitting here talking with you, man. I'm drinking some Chameleon cold brew coffee. They can send the check to my house in Nashville, Tennessee whenever they hear this. I'm sure they're listening.
Certainly. That Chameleon cold brew and Topo Chico, you're certified Austinite.
Yeah, I need to. Actually, I had a friend in Nashville that told me she wanted me to bootleg her back some Topo Chico from Texas because she just moved out there from here. She's like, I'm fiending for it. I got to have it.
Yeah, man. Tax her. Put a lick on it.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah. It's gonna go up 30%.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. I just came up with that.
Be the Capone of Topo.
So I told you the other day after you played, like right when you got done, I was walking back in because I had to walk across the street to the Coke FM thing. My buddy Ben Danaher was playing over there. I was like, I got to get back. Landon's playing. And I walked back in and you were like, thanks for listening. All right. How did it go?
Man, it was good. Cody Sparks was there, and I just recently met this fella, Niles from Shaker Hymns, band down in San Marcos, Texas. And, those two guys are always cool to be around, always fun to play with. And, it was a great setup there, the Rustic Tap, as well as, Chance Avery, a.k.a. Heavy Duty.
Heavy Duty. Yeah. He texts me, he's like, Heavy Duty, that's my new nickname. It's like, all right. I might call you that. I'm probably still going to call you Chance, but it's all right. I love you anyway. So
Yeah, right?
But it was a great setup. It was cool. It was a fun time.
Yeah. Did a good job for sure.
For especially to be like a last minute thing. Like he just did that
you
with
wouldn't think it was last minute, but he put it together and it ran really smooth. And I think it had a lot to do with the people, that were playing it. Like yourself, everybody that showed up. Everybody was on time.
And the Texas homegrown radio people. They definitely
Bobby Texas.
Yeah.
He sat in and was picking the pedal steel with us.
Yeah, that was killer.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Sure.
I was in the set. It was the set I played was Logan Timberlake, Bree Bagwell, and myself, and then Bobby Texas played steel. And so it was cool because when Logan and Bree were playing, I was playing harmonica on a few songs, and then he and I were like, "You want to take one? All right, you go ahead." And all right, me now. All right, cool.
Yeah,
that was a fun night. Are you playing anywhere else this week?
Yeah, this evening I'm gonna join the Tom Ben Lindley Band. They're a country western group based out of here in Austin. And they've got this set up over at the Friends and Allies Brewery. And so I'm going to go and kick things off there, I think around like 5:30 or 6.
Cool.
And, next weekend I'll be in Baytown playing for the city.
What dates are those?
The 23rd.
March 23rd.
March 23rd in Baytown. And then I'll be in Bay City, not to be confused.
Now, where for the non-aware people, where is Baytown? Is it the Houston area?
Yeah, Baytown is the Houston area, and Bay City is like close to like El Campo, Victoria, that kind of area. Like
what part of Texas is that?
So it's still South Texas. It's further south to the coast,
closer to like Corpus Christi area.
So it'd be like a midpoint between Corpus and Galveston.
Right on. What for the people not hip to Landon Bullard, including myself at this point, where are you from, man?
So, I'm from Bay City, Texas. So I'll be going back to Bay City on the 24th to go play for the Matagorda County Boys and Girls Club. And so going to go pick some tunes for them and hang out with them for a bit. But, I was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And then...
Coon-ass!
Born a Cajun and raised a Texan, so...
That's a hell of a mix.
Yeah, man, piss fire. All that good stuff.
Your folks from... Baton Rouge area, or where are they from?
No, so they kind of settled there. My dad is from Norfolk, Virginia, Chesapeake area, and my mother is from Alabama, Muscle Shoals area.
Really?
Yeah, she was.
We might have talked about that the other night, and I don't know. I don't remember. But cool.
Hell, if we did, I wouldn't recall it either. But yeah, she was a recording artist with a group named Punch back in the day.
We did talk about that.
Yeah. My cousin Daryl Holden played on a Ronnie Millsap record back in the day. And so that's kind of like how I got exposed to all that stuff.
So did you grow up around music, being around that?
Yeah, my parents, my dad was in, I actually just found a cassette tape, and it's them live at the KC Hall in Wharton, Texas, the Western Express.
Huh.
And I just remember, they played, 90s country, Alan Jackson,
So you grew up in Bay City, right?
In Bay City.
Born in Baton Rouge and then grew up over there. Cool. All through high school and everything there?
Yeah.
Nice. When did you graduate high school?
2009.
2009, okay.
And I took off up to San Marcos.
Did you go to college there? Or did you okay.
Texas State University.
Nice.
And spent about 6.5 years bumping my head through there.
Happens.
Got out though, got that degree, got out.
A lot of people go to college for 6.5, 7 years. Some of them are doctors, and some of them are have degrees. So it's all good.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't know.
What's your degree in?
All right, so I really wanted to get in. I wanted to be a petroleum landman, and there's not too many universities that offer like an accredited degree for that. And so I did. For lack of better words, it's called a general study degree. But I took 3 minors. So I minored in geology, business administration, and leadership communication, and kind of coupled those all into like a well-rounded degree.
Sound like a politician. Sounds like a politics degree there.
Well, I wanted to learn a little bit about it all,
What's
instead of just being pigeonholed.
Right, yeah. So you said, what'd you call it, a petroleum what?
Petroleum landman. And
what does that constitute?
So pretty much like what the landman does is they look at a lot of maps, they do a lot of research on different types of different resources that are present on lands and stuff. And they go back and do research in libraries on the families and stuff that own those lands and their rights to those minerals and stuff. And they kind of help mediate the negotiations between these, big companies that are going to go develop and explore for these resources and help kind of divvy it up between, the families and stuff like that.
So you're like the the evil railroad man that comes through and kicks people off their property. Is that what you're talking about?
No, man. I don't think so. I wouldn't call it like that. Man, this movie, There Will Be Blood, with Daniel Day-Lewis.
I've heard of that. I never watched it. But
what? Dude, it's great.
Is that what he is in the movie or something?
Essentially. Yeah. It's like kind of like, when all those tycoons got started back in the day and everything was real, gutter back then.
Well, what it really sounds like, though, is that the landman is kind of like the guy that facilitates an easy way of doing that instead of going in and being like, we're buying this whether you like it or not. Like it sounds like that's kind of like the mediator kind of person or something like. But so did you do that? Did you?
Hell no.
No. What did you do after college?
I worked inside sales for a startup company. I was an account executive for Main Street Hub. And so I sold social media and online representation, online like customer review site representation to like small businesses. And so I was, doing lots of cold calls and stuff like that.
So what is that like? A business hires your company to go in and write reviews on them or something?
So like Joe's Auto Shop in Kansas City, doesn't have a Google Plus page or his, all of his stuff's unclaimed. He doesn't have a Facebook page.
Yeah.
So basically we go in and build him all those platforms out top to bottom. If he did have people online, like, talking, bad about his company, we would confront that, with
try to fix the solution.
And, just kind of help provide them, like an all-in-one service, with one person, with like one company.
You do great in small town Alabama. I talk with my cousin all the time that I live with, and I'm like, I feel like with what I've learned as far as sales and marketing and social media and all this stuff in the last 6-8 years, I could start almost any business in a small town, and I feel like I could be successful because the first thing you do is you get a website, you get all these social medias, you start doing all this stuff, you start advertising, you start doing all this stuff that so many people don't do.
Yeah, it's certainly like that's the one thing you got to do is you got to convince these people that there's like there's stuff there that they're not seeing.
It's not 1940 anymore.
Exactly. People, everybody like research says that 80% of people are doing searches through their cell phones, which makes sense because people are on the go. Or even if I'm at the house, I'll catch myself on my laptop with my phone on my hand. I'm like, okay, this is too much.
Oh yeah. I try to stay aware.
So,
of it,
you got to unplug sometimes. But like you're saying, small towns in Alabama, I used to get really bored at work, and we had to have like a certain amount of calls a day.
Yeah.
And I used to joke around like my manager and like get him to like, listen into these phone calls I'd make, and I would just like call people, and I would try and see how many people I could get to say "Roll Tide" back to me. Dude, seriously.
It probably didn't take that long.
No. They would be so mad at me. I'd be cold calling them. They'd be like, get the hell off my phone. I'd be like, okay, Roll Tide. Hang up,
man.
And like those little things, like it was so funny. And I worked with a bunch of musicians too. You've heard of the Austin Mead Group?
Yeah.
So their old bass player, Britton Kim, me and him were working that same sales office together, and it was just do whatever you can do to make it to the gigs on the weekend. Try and stay sane while you're at work.
Yeah, man, you gotta make money somehow, and in order to keep the thing flowing. So, how long did you do that?
Man, I did that for about 7 months, and then I transitioned into like oil and gas inside sales. And was working for a company, and it didn't really work out. And man, I was working like 30 and 40-hour weeks.
Yeah.
And expecting a draw, and it never showed up. So I had like an eviction notice that came up, and I managed to book a show, the night of, and was able to pay my rent the next morning. And so that was whenever I was like, man. Like, I really needed that show, and like, I was able to make it happen, and I was like, if I really sat down and, took, some of the sales acumen that I'd learned from those past 2 jobs,
right,
and, started, making those cold calls for myself, full time, then I'd have a busy, music schedule. I'd be paying my rent, and
right.
I'd be,
How long ago was that?
Man, I started doing that probably a few months before the turn of 2016. So like I was, graduated and had been working a little over
year and a half,
8 months. Yeah, so I've been doing it, full time for about a year and a half.
So at what point? So back up. At what point? When did you start playing? When we talked about you grew up around it. When did you start like playing and singing and get the bit?
Yeah. So like I picked up a guitar whenever I was like probably like 12 or 13 years old, and my older brother played, and he was in bands, and he played in like those alt rock bands, and they covered stuff like Blink-182 and POD and stuff. And I don't know, dude. Hell, I just got in the Mudvayne LD50 record, so my taste has been all over the place. But
yeah, but the real question: were you a Limp Bizkit fan?
Limp Bizkit, I didn't have I just found that same day I found that Western Express record. I found the Green Day Nimrod CD, and like it was like
I went through a very short Limp Bizkit phase. Like I think it was that was like sixth grade when I don't know what the hell I still don't know what's going on. But
the Marshall Mathers,
you're trying to figure out. It was Eminem's like Kid Rock, Ball with a Ball album or Devil Without a Cause album had just come out not long before that. And I'm like, I don't know, I like Elvis, but I like Kid Rock, but I like Limp Bizkit, but I like Hank Jr. Which is kind of still my mind. But the Green Day, what was their album?
Dookie.
That was like the big one, wasn't it?
That was like their first big one. I feel like that was like one of their first breakouts. Because they were a band in high school for a long time.
What was the one that had the like Holiday? Oh, Holiday.
That was whenever they started getting really, really political.
Yeah. It was had the Wake Me Up When September Ends.
Wake me up when September ends.
Yeah, that one. I like that song. I still like that song. Yeah. The drums on that album are so good.
Yeah.
Chop, chop. Oh, sorry, I kicked too hard. Sorry about that. Sorry, people. I'm telling you what, people listening, Chameleon Cold Brew. That's where it's at. They actually sell it in Nashville area now, and the Publix I think has it. Maybe Kroger too. I don't know. I'm getting off topic again.
So I got started. I played my first show probably around 2011, an acoustic show in San Marcos.
Okay. So in college.
Yeah. I finally got out of the frat house and worked up the nuts to go play some music in front of some people. I befriended Brian Boyce and all those guys, and been watching them play, and sometimes they'd let me get up and play a few songs in between their sets or whatever. And one night over at it's now the Kiva Bar. It used to be Taxis, and I played a song in between their set, and this lady came up to me afterward and was like, "When can I, come see like one of your shows?" And that's kind of like whenever it kind of, it's like,
maybe I should do one of those.
I'll play a show.
It's cool how it doesn't matter if I'm talking to somebody in Nashville or here in Austin area or wherever. Like, it's all. You got to go out and you make friends, and then you sit in with people, or they sit in with you, and you kind of like help each other out, and it's all people helping people. That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing when it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, man, it's been cool so far for sure.
So, have you recorded? I saw where you released a single back in September, right?
We did. We released a single off of our 5-track self-titled EP, Landon Bullard, The Mostly Sober. The single is titled Patron in Lime, and we recorded that at the 512 Studios. That was recently dubbed here at the Austin Music Awards for the best studio here in Austin.
Studio is awesome.
Yeah, man.
I toured through it a couple of years ago with a buddy of mine. Speaking of which, I need to text him. Sorry, I'm lucky enough to have a lot of friends in a lot of different cities, but especially here. And I always come to town and I forget one of my friends. I forget to text him. And like Austin Gillum texted me the other day. He was like, "Motherfucker, you're in town. You haven't even called me yet." I was like, "Oh, sorry, Austin." Which I still got to see
the
him.
Viking himself.
Yeah, man.
Mr. Strawberry Lemonade.
Yeah. Can I make you some strawberry lemonade. I got to get Austin on the podcast because he hasn't talked to me yet. Yeah, so Patron, what is it? Patron and Lime?
Patron and Lime.
Patron and Lime. So but the EP's not out yet, right?
Not yet. We're still in like the listening and mixing phase, and just really want to make sure not rushing anything.
Yeah, it's
important. Yeah, for sure. Some things sound a lot different in the studio than they do in the car. Or after you hear it 1,000 times and you feel like you're tired of hearing it, you finally hear something that might change it a little bit and make it a little better for you.
Let it breathe for a couple weeks, and then come back and you're like, oh, I don't like the way that whatever.
Well, and like there's like a sweet spot during the time here, especially in the circuit. There's a lot of shit that goes on as far as like. As soon as December starts rolling around, people are already talking about Steamboat Music Fest, and it's it's all about Steamboat, even 3 weeks after Steamboat, and then you've got South by Southwest, so you really want to make sure, especially with me being like a breaking band, I gotta, drop this whenever there's not too much going on, and I don't get snuffed out by, all the stuff that's going on.
It's like playing chess. You got to look at the whole board. You got to see, you got to look at the whole calendar year and be like, okay, like, in my opinion, and I've learned this from my own experience instead of looking at other people's, but I've put albums out in like October and November before, and it's terrible. Like, because you get a good buzz going on, and then it's Thanksgiving, and then it's Christmas, and then it's New Year's, and Steamboat, and like all these things, and then by the time February comes around, it's old news, it's old hat, it's like 5-6 months old, so, you got to look at it all and be like, okay, this is the spot, whenever that is. I don't know. If you figure out the tricks of life, let me know.
Yeah, well, this whole thing with social media, I think that's a huge turn. I feel like if independent artists, that don't have the means, to promote with like a radio promoter and stuff like that, if they learn how to pimp their social media in a fashion to where they can, scale a community around their brand and their music on those platforms, then they're going to get the amount of exposure that they need through those outlets, and through those
use the tools that are there for you to use.
Exactly, and that's what we've been trying to do is just you got content, and I don't do it enough, and I'd like to.
Well, there's like to me. And I get this feeling sometimes. I'm like, man, I should probably post something. I haven't posted something in a couple of days. But then I think I don't want to just post something because I should probably post something. Like I want to post when there's something interesting to post, because I get tired of seeing people's bullshit that nobody really cares that much about.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to just post, oh, here's a picture of me cooking my eggs again. I did it yesterday. I'm going to do it tomorrow, but this is what I'm doing right now. I don't know. It's
well, you've also like with your band or your business's page, you've got to figure out a way to get people over there, but you got to keep them there too. So you don't want to be posting anything that keeps them bored or isn't engaging. You
can't just be like, buy my music, come to my shows.
Yeah,
buy my music, come to my shows.
I just used to just type up where I was going to be and made sure I tagged every place, and then I thought that was good enough. And it doesn't get near as much engagement as it does if you're you make a 30-second video of you talking, or you go, now you have the option to go live. On Facebook.
I haven't even ever done that before.
Dude, it's nerve-wracking. You play like, shows or whatever, and no matter the size of them, after a while, you still get, nerves or whatever. But you go on Facebook Live, you're like...
It's final. Like,
yeah,
it's just,
that's it, dude. There's no
retyping that status. That's just... Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. There's such a line between... having content, but making sure that it's quality content. Like I've even had that with everything. Like I'm even like that with this podcast. Like last week, there was an episode because I didn't have one, and I didn't want to just. I could probably just call somebody and get them to come in here, but I'm like, I would rather go a week without an episode than to put out some shitty conversation with somebody that I don't care about. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, definitely.
So So I'm not just getting you in here because I don't have anything. If I didn't want to talk to you, I just wouldn't have talked to you. So there you go.
Well, hell, thanks, man.
You should feel privileged to be. No, I'm just kidding. That's not what I mean. How's your water? You're not even drinking any coffee.
No coffee, man. I got the that espresso ground Cafe Bustelo.
Yeah. Sounds fancy.
No, it's $4.
Oh, well.
But it's Colombian and it's fine ground, so you know it don't mess around.
What? So you don't have any? Do you have a goal for when the EP will be out?
I'm shooting for 420, just for
just to have something.
Mostly sober, yeah. But I'd love to get it out sometime late April, maybe May, and really looking forward to sharing this project. I had a bunch of badass players on it. Dylan Sampson, he's with Sonny Sweeney at the moment, but he's with the Damn Quails for a while.
Okay, yeah.
My buddy Cody Angel, making an appearance on the Pedal Steel there, and Dylan Dostal from the Drugstore Gypsies, as well as my player John Chaney. And
do you do band stuff? Do you do mostly solo stuff? What's your when you play shows?
We were on the road last weekend, and we ran up to San Angelo and did the Whiskey River Saloon, and then hauled it over to Brownwood and played the Oasis. And,
nice. Full band?
Full band.
What do you do?
Yeah.
Bass, drums?
Yeah, we ran a 4-piece.
Yeah.
Depending on the gig, if the money's right, I love to bring in as many players as if I could, man. I have
We'd all love to have a 12-piece band. Oh, yeah, shit, yeah. Yeah, that's what people ask me. I'm like, what? It all depends on how much I'm making. Anywhere from just me to I'll bring an orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all about the money, people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any a booking agent or management or anything? Are you indie right now, or what's
for the most part, yeah, I'm completely independent. Just recently, I've started working with a couple companies. This one lady, Kelly Pierce, out of Water Valley, has helped me out, as well as Mike Black with Texas Southern Entertainment. I'm actually a featured artist on their page, and
nice. How did that stuff come about?
So, actually, Michael Wayne Black was his recording name, but he was an artist back in the day, and he was from Bay City, Texas, and so he was picked up by Texas Southern Entertainment in the 70s, and they booked him all over Texas, and he had gotten a deal with Sonny and went to Nashville, and then he had toured Europe for a while. On down the line, ended up buying the company.
Okay.
And so now he does, pretty much the same thing for other artists. That was happening.
Mostly booking, or is it?
Yeah, well, they offer full artist, deals or whatever. But as of now, just kind of recently, just taking just any kind of help with booking.
So it's always interesting to me to hear, and I feel like that. I put myself back in my place when I was 21, 22, just moved to Nashville. That's the kind of stuff I want to hear. I want to hear well, how did you go from just making cold calls to then you're working with a booking agent to then somebody gets a manager? Those are all interesting connections that I feel like a lot of people, not you so much, but I mean a lot of people when they're telling their stories, they'll just skip over the part that I feel like people want to hear. I want to hear, I was drunk at a bar and ran into this guy and he said he was a booking agent. And I said, man, let's do a shot and book me some gigs or however it happens. Yeah. That's interesting to me.
Well, I've been talking to Mike for a few years, and it'd be, he was, he had his hands on a lot of stuff. He owned a publishing company out of Nashville, Gaylord Publishing Company, and we were just all talking about working all kinds of different angles, and at that point I still didn't even have a project, for him to even market, or for him to mess with.
Right.
And so, it's really just been hell just trying to get this record made, and you're self-funding, and then you're living in Austin on top of that.
Are you going to do any kind of crowdsource or crowdfunding kind of thing?
Nah, not yet.
Pre-sales or anything for it?
We might do pre-sales. I think that'd be a good avenue to do that. I started a Kickstarter in 2015 whenever I came out here. And whenever I was going through that deal where that oil and gas gig wasn't working out, one of those nights before the gig, my car got broken into, and my PA, my monitor, and all my cords and stuff had gotten stolen out of my car. And so pretty much like the $1,100 or like $1,500 we had gotten so far, I had to replace all the equipment we had just to keep the machine rolling.
Man, you got to do it. You got to do it.
I'm like, dude, I even chased the guy. It was so crazy. Like, I just randomly decided I was going to go on a run. And, like, I had a rehearsal later that night. We had a show the next day. And I ran down to Town Lake and back. And it was from the corner of Ben White and where, like, 290 and Ben White meet. Over by the McDonald's. And, south
here in Austin, southwest of downtown. Yeah.
And so I run down to Town Lake and back, man. Like, I'm, drink beer on the weekends and talk around and stuff like that. So I'm not the best runner. And I get back and I see this, like, dude walk out of our garage wearing, like, my blue Herschel gear bag that I had. And he's got a styrofoam cooler on his head. And I was like, what the fuck? And he was... My bad.
Oh, you can say what.
Yeah.
It's the internet, baby.
It's the internet, baby.
Say fuck as much as you want to.
I was like, I watched the Joe Rogan podcast. Yeah. Or Coco Diaz. What's up, you cocksuckers?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I see this dude fucking, like, smoking the thing that pissed me off the first time was, like, I saw him walking out of our stairwell, and he was smoking a cigarette. I was like, who the fuck does that? And so, I'm like, man, that looked like my bag. Like, it's in my head, I'm like, there's no way it's my bag. There's no way. And so I run up those stairs after getting done with that like 5-mile run. I like sprint up these stairs.
You break into your apartment?
No, he broke into my car in the parking garage.
Okay. Oh, in the garage.
Yeah,
okay.
And him and all of his buddies just looted all the shit.
Oh, man.
And like I saw my car door was wide open, and all my shit was gone. And I ran down the stairs and saw he had just gotten like down to the McDonald's, and it was like maybe 100 yards away.
Yeah.
And so I just took off in like a dead sprint, and like this dude was like smoking a cigarette, back turned to me, and I just plowed straight through this dude.
Oh shit!
Trucked him, bro.
Yeah.
And got on top of him and was like wrestling my bag away from him. And I got it, and it was like empty. And I was like, "What the hell?" I was like, "Where's all my stuff? Like, where's all my stuff?" And I had my knee like on his.
What did he say?
He's like, "I don't have your stuff. I don't have your stuff. I don't know what you're talking about." I was like, well, fuck you, dude. You're going to jail. Like, somebody's getting fucked for this, not me.
Yeah.
And so I, like, put my knee on his chest, and I'm calling the cops. And he swats my phone out of my hand, and I got to go grab it, and he bolts off into this McDonald's. And he's, like, hiding from me. I'm, like, running around this McDonald's like a madman looking for this dude. And
wow.
Yeah, man. And I was like,
so
hurdle number one.
Did the cops get him? Or
no, they didn't. They weren't going to be able to show up. Since
they probably take them like
45
45 minutes to get there.
Yeah, I should have told him that like I already killed the guy or something, and they would have been there.
He's got a gun.
Yeah. So that's that. And then
my car got broke into up in D.C. this past October, and they busted out the windows. The last night I was on like a week run up through Virginia, like Charlottesville, and then I played Baltimore and then D.C. And I just planned the trip just so I could go up there and see the sites because I'd never been up there before. And it was great, awesome week. And then the last night, like the day I was going to get in my car and leave, I got down there and my car window was busted out, and they had my whole PA was in there, my guitar was in there, harmonicas, merchandise, everything was in there. They had busted the window, opened the guitar case, left the guitar. They took out my merch suitcase, busted it open. Didn't just open it, busted it open. And then, because it was unlocked. I mean, it's not like it was locked. But they broke the suitcase open, didn't take any of the merchandise. Broke my harmonica case open, didn't take any of the harmonicas.
Just broke a bunch of shit.
Well, they were just looking for easy shit to steal because they broke into like 5 other cars that night. But they stole like a nice leather jacket and a nice fleece jacket and a big hunting knife. So all in all, it wasn't that big of a deal. But
yeah.
I hope nobody dies from the knife. That would make me feel bad. But
somehow brings it back to you.
Yeah, but the cops were like, yeah, this happens here in this garage, like once a month or so.
And so y'all aren't like here?
I said, was there not cameras or something? He's like, no, the gate's supposed to close at night, but the gate's been broken at this garage for like 6 months. I'm like, why don't somebody do something about that?
Yeah, man, that frustrates the hell out of me too, because my car got broken into, my stuff got stolen, but it could have been, some girl could have got, sexually assaulted or something, or, somebody could have got mugged, and, they would have been in a bind,
Yeah, just to shrug and be like, yeah, man, crime happens. I don't know what to say. Oh, what?
Yeah, people suck, man.
Yeah. I don't know. So what you got coming up other than next? Well, you're in Baytown and Bay City, March 23rd and 24th, right? Mm-hmm. What about after that? What you got coming up?
So April.
That's me. My sister calling. I'll call her back. It's all good.
So, April we'll be going down. Actually, end of this month, I forgot. Yeah, the 30th, we're going to be playing at the Fitzgerald's there in Houston. I know the Blue Water Highway Band is going to be on one of the stages. I'm not too sure of how that works out.
What is it, the Fitzgerald? Is that a venue?
I don't know if it's kind of like Facebook. I don't know if it's the Facebook or if it's the Fitzgerald. I feel like that's a thing.
Is it Fitzgerald or the Fitzgerald? Yeah. So is that a venue?
It's a venue, okay. Yeah, in Houston. And Blue Water Highway Band's going to be there. We'll be there that night as well. And April, we've got a couple of acoustic shows in the San Angelo area, Contra Pearl. Then in May, I'm excited. We'll be breaking into Louisiana for the first time. And we're doing like a string of shows at a couple of casinos and then going to the Lava Cantina in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
So we'll be at the Horseshoe Bend Casino, the Whiskey Room in Bossier City, and then we'll be...
Bossier City.
No, Bossier City.
I used to play the Horseshoe Casino there. Is that right? Horseshoe
Yeah.
Casino? Yeah. They had a bar in there called the Whiskey something or other.
I think it's the Whiskey
Is that
Room.
it? What is it? Whiskey Roadhouse?
Whiskey Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Forgive me.
Yeah. Yeah, I've played there several times. I used to come there with the band, and they would, at that time, they would get us like 2 or 3 hotel rooms at like the Best Western or somewhere down the street that they owned.
Yeah.
But then, like, at some point, they went down on their pay, and they said, we can't get you hotel rooms anymore. And I was like, well, I can't bring my band there from Nashville anymore. So
yeah, that doesn't make sense.
I've done some solo stuff there, but, it is what it is. Live to fight another day.
Yeah, man, for sure.
What do you have some kind of, what do they call those? A website, web address?
Press kit?
Yeah. Where can you send your physical press kit to someone, please, with your cassette tape? No, what's your website? People can go check out.
So my .com, I made it myself, so y'all feel free to let me know how terrible it is. But LandonBullardmusic.com, real easy. Cool. You can follow some links there over to my social media channels. If you're already on the Facebook, just check it out at Landon Bullard Music. Twitter's at The Mostly Sober. Instagram, Landon Bullard Texas Music.
Very nice, very nice. I think we should play some songs on the guitar, and I'll play the harmonica.
Let's do it.
What do you think about it? And then you got to get out of here because you got to go play some music for some peoples.
Yeah, go pick some
guitars. If you could give yourself some advice at 18-year-old Landon Bullard, about to go to college, what advice would you give yourself? Putting you on the spot.
Right, I want to say something really deep.
Doesn't have to be. It can be, don't believe girls when they tell you things.
Wang Chung tonight.
What is it? There's an episode of Cheers where Fraser comes in. It's going to be his bachelor party, and he's like, to quote a modern era rock and roll song, everybody have fun tonight. Everybody, Wang Chung tonight.
There you go.
He says it all like philosophically.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, thanks for coming in and talking, man. Let's play some music.
Certainly.
Let's do it.
Whiskey in the bottle, I smoke my last cigarette. I'll take a drive out to the ocean, I've got some things to forget. I think I'll wade out to the water to wash some waves from the shore. looks, don't gotta know, no worries anymore. Patrol man, help me one time. Just wanna make her mine, she's one of a kind. Patrolling line. I stumbled to an old cantina when an angel caught my eye. I asked her what she's drinking. She said Patron and lime. I think I need the courage. A little tip from Melvin Williams. I'll get to dealing with these feelings. I'll play the card she's dealing with an ace up my sleeve. Patron and lime. Help me one time. Just wanna make her mine. She's one of a kind. Patron and lime. $1 to the jukebox. I made my way to the floor. She followed shortly after. I had her coming back for more. Patron and lime. Help me one time. Just wanna make her mine. She's one of a kind. Patron and lime.
Landon Bullard, everybody. Patron and Lime. That song he just played there is now digitally available wherever it is that you get your music, wherever you kids are downloading or streaming your music from these days. Thanks to Landon for coming in. Thanks to you for listening, you beautiful person, you. Check out LandonBullardMusic.com, and a link to that and Landon's social medias will all be up at the show notes page over at don'tstifleme.com/049. Episode 49. Yeah. If you enjoyed this talk, please make sure you subscribe on the listening platform of your choice. And make sure you check out past episodes. You can rate and review the podcast on Apple Podcast app if you would like to do that. Share it with your friends. There's so many things. It's a world full of options. You can do as little or as much as you want to do. You could also go check out patreon.com/DSM podcast. And over there you can pledge money. Like I said at the beginning, you can pledge some money, get involved, be able to help us keep doing these things, and you get some behind the scenes shit while we're at it. So check that out if you want to. If not, no big deal. The podcast social medias, if you're a social media or the podcast stuff is all at DSM Podcast. Mine is all at Jacob Stee-full. Shoot me a message, follow whatever, like things, comment on things. Shoot me a message, say hey, whatever you want to do, you know. In the meantime, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you again so much for listening, and I'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, man, that was cool.